Hey guys, it's your favorite body code practitioner. Favorite? Kind of a obnoxious statement, but anyway, this is Emmanuel, your body code practitioner out here in Salt Lake City. I'm excited to continue to read this book with you, which is the Emotion Code, and hopefully you're as excited as I am. If not, you're in the wrong channel. This is Emotion Code by Dr. Brad. This is the new book. We are on page 64, back to where we're actually continuing, starting from the PTSD we just talked about. We're about to go to the part where it says PTSD from a fall. So if you're following along, go ahead and read with me. And I will be putting some side notes on there, as you guys are already accustomed to. So let's get started. So PTSD from a fall. My boyfriend Michael and I were hiking at Devil's Lake State Park in Wisconsin. He fell 85 feet straight down off of a bluff. Wow. He miraculously survived, made a full physical recovery in the hospital, but it was clear to me there was an emotional scarring for both of us. He couldn't remember much of what happened, but was left with panic attacks. I had severe anxiety and PTSD. This is when I was introduced to the Emotion Code. With it, I have eased Michael's panic attacks, lessened his anxiety, and helped him refrain from getting extremely overwhelmed and stressed during daily life. For myself, my anxiety is almost non-existent, and I no longer suffer from PTSD. A Vietnam vet finds help. And by the way, for those of you who don't know this, I'm actually with my, in regards to helping out veterans that have PTSD, I actually have a veterans program where we give 12 free sessions to people who are veterans who are dealing with symptoms of PTSD. So just, if you know any veterans, let me know. You can have them email me below. I would love to help them out. And it's my way of giving back to those who serve and help us with our freedom. So with that, back to the book. It says, Vietnam vet finds help. My husband was my first client. He deals with PTSD from the Vietnam era. He was diagnosed with stage 1 Parkinson's disease. I have been doing the Emotion Code on him from the beginning, and that's been 9 months now, all with wonderful success. His moods have mellowed, his blood pressure is now normal, and the tremors have all but ceased. He is so impressed that he has to share his experience with all his vet buddies, and they are now having sessions with me for PTSD. Jill J. All right, these are good testimonials here. The Emotion Code clears lifelong trauma. I had a client who had severe PTSD from multiple traumas in her life since she was a little girl. They affected her mood and behavior and were starting to lead to symptoms in her body. I started with the process of me clearing emotions on her, and in no time she was doing it on her own consistently and diligently. It has been about a year of clearing, and she's like a new woman. I've never seen the Emotion Code work at such depth as this before, and it was so wonderful to be part of her healing process. She has been freed from the fear she lived in constantly, is now experiencing abundance in her relationships, and especially her relationship with God. She knows the power that the Emotion Code holds and is in the process of getting her book published about PTSD and the Emotion Code. That was from Megan B. So can you afford to keep your trapped emotions? I believe that removing trapped emotions is vital to your quality of life. Removing them may prevent many different problems from eventually occurring. Hopefully, you are beginning to understand how releasing your trapped emotions can give you relief from mental and physical symptoms you may be suffering from now. Frank is finally welcomed home. One of the very first veterans that I worked with was a man named Frank, who had served in the war in Vietnam. He couldn't talk about his experiences in the war to anyone. If he thought about these experiences, he would feel enormous rage welling up inside. He never talked about it. He was just really shut down. On a side note, I personally love the statement, which is like, I have complete peace with, I have peace with this person's relationship, or I have peace with my mother and how she treated me, or I have peace with this experience where I experienced war for 2 years. I have peace with blank. And that's a really powerful way to start tapping into the attunement session to see how much your body actually believes it. So I love using percentages. I love checking, how much do you actually believe in this statement? If you were to put your arm out, your arm would go down because, say, I have complete peace with me being in Vietnam. The arm would go down. Well, how much do you have peace? More than 90%. No, is it less than 90%? Oh, look, arm is strong. Less than 80%, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. No. So is it less than 10? No. 10, is it 11? Is it 12? Is it 13? 14. 14.1? No. 14.2? No. 14.3. Oh, 14.3. 14.39. 8, 7, 14.37. You see, we can get to the decimal point if you want to. But the point is this, is that the body knows to the decimal point how much peace you have with something due to your energetic trauma. So I'm kind of a big proponent of like attunement sessions. I love that's like one of the greatest things I've discovered in the last 4 years is wait a minute, you can check how much your body believes in a statement and work on it. All of a sudden you're doing very well with that statement. You can do that with love, with wealth, with peace, with anything. It's almost like it is the limitless pill of our time. So I made a video about that. You should check out this video called Limitless Emotion Code. I made a video about how the body code is like the secret on speed, or like the limitless pill, except without all the side effects. Maybe some echoes, but we can all deal with it, right? All right, so here we go. I believe that removing trapped emotions. Okay, here we go. Frank is finally welcomed home. One of the very first veterans that I worked with, a man named Frank. Okay, we've got to that part. His wife referred him to me, and since he lives in another state, we talked over the phone. I explained how the emotion code can be done at a distance. He said, I got to tell you, this is really a stretch for me and my understanding here. And I said, that's fine. I welcome you to this moment. In that very session done over the phone, I released some trapped emotions from him. What I found is that some of the things that happened to him at 5 years old caused him to react to the situations in the war the way he did. Side note, totally makes sense. Most people, what I've noticed, in my personal opinion, is that PTSD was kind of like it's sort of like the thing that lit the bomb, But if you look at some of the most military people, for whatever reason, they've had maybe abusive childhood, or a father who wasn't there, or a father was too hard on them, and so they had PTSD already in some ways. And then when they went to war, then it really, like, everything just exploded, and then they came back very, very different. But I noticed that when I worked on people's heart walls, a lot of traumas, it came even before the war. And with veterans that I'm working with, most of their PTSD, I would say 70% of it sometimes even came before the war or before the military, which is interesting. So I totally relate to this. But what I found is that some of the things that happened to him at 5 years old caused him to react to situations in a war the way he did. I learned that his PTSD really started at age 5. And the emotional baggage from that age was compounded by his war experiences. And before you know it, it's just one big reaction instead of being able to manage and be present. I didn't hear back from him, and I was left to wonder what had happened. Then he called me and said, I have to tell you, after the session, I could talk about the Vietnam War like it was part of history, not a part of me. So I decided I was going to go meet my brothers and sisters. He went to the local VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and started mingling with his fellow veterans there. Then he said, I decided I wanted to take it to the next step. I wanted to walk in the Memorial Day parade. So he went to the Army surplus store. He walked in. The owner looked at him and said, wait a minute. He disappeared in the back of the store for a moment and walked out with a shoebox and said, what size boot do you wear? He said, I wear a size 11, the man said. I've been waiting for you. There's a size 11 from the Vietnam War. So Frank walked in the Memorial Day parade wearing his proud and honored pair of boots. Afterward, he walked into his house and said to his wife, I've been welcomed home today. It's awesome. The future looks bright. I was working with Gary, a recovering addict, using the emotion code. Gary lived in a constant fear of using again. He was very depressed and unmotivated and became suicidal. After releasing his trapped emotions, he became extremely happy. Weeks later, his Native American tribe offered him a very exciting internship, so he's gone back to school. He's getting married next year, Jacqueline W. A faculty member helps a teen at school. I had the opportunity to work with one of my students from the high school where I worked. Braden was an 18-year-old young man who struggled with depression, anxiety, addictions, and ADD. He had been bullied many times by the time I was able to work with him as an emotion code practitioner. Braden, by the way, speaking of, on a side note, getting bullied, that's another good one you could do. I have complete peace with me getting bullied from age 5 to 8. If I check on that, see, you know what? I don't think I've even worked on that too much for myself. See, if I were to muscle test myself, how much peace do I have with any type of school bullying? I'm just going to take the whole mass of it. See, 100%, no, 190, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 29. Yeah, see, so that's 28%. So 28%, that's not a lot. So I need to work on that. And that's probably why I sometimes get triggered when I see people bullying other people. It really gets me going. Like, there's something about when I see someone bullying someone, or if I see my son bullying my stepson or stepson, whatever, any like little kids bullying each other, my eyes just go like bloody red, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to do with myself. So, and I know that probably has to do with people bullying me. It's triggering me. And so anyway, I just want to give you a side note that you can also do, most of us have probably received some type of bullying at some point. Why not have peace with it, right? Anyway, so, okay. Braden was an 18-year-old young man who struggled with depression, anxiety, addictions, and ADD. He had been bullied many times by the time I was able to work with him as an emotion code practitioner. Braden was emotionally absent and walked around in a daze most days. His eyes were devoid of feeling. He lacked confidence, had very few friends, and his grades were failing even though he was quite intelligent. Sadly, he felt so powerless and victimized by his circumstances. As one could imagine, he had several trapped emotions that I was able to release from him. After his first session, his countenance changed. He walked around with a bounce in his step. It was hard to believe that this was the same student. It was hard to believe that this was the same student I had seen days prior, looking like a zombie. He was way more engaged with others and seemed happier with life. He still always has a ways to go, but the emotion code was a lifeline for this young man. It has truly been a miraculous transformation. Okay, so sometimes, and I'll show you, kind of like when I'll show you 3 levels of me doing the emotion code. You guys ready for this? I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do it for you anyway. There's 3 levels of me and how I experience the emotion code for myself. Okay, one is like I have a lot of trapped emotions. I'm not doing really good. Second is I'm feeling a little bit better. And then the third is kind of like I'm really releasing a lot of energies using the body code and kind of thing like. So I'm going to show you the 3 stage. Okay, I'll show you the 1, the 2, 3. Okay, here goes. Okay, so here's 1. Okay, so I'm just kind of like, oh man, life. Okay, so that's 1 right there. That's 1. Now, the second one is kind of like the bounce to the step, bounce to step. Okay, I don't usually do this, but it's usually when like things are starting to go well for me. Okay, now the third one is kind of like this weird floaty thing going on where I just start floating around. Okay, so that I don't usually do that for you guys, but I feel like someone out there needs to know that it's a journey, right? Okay, it's not like you don't go from all depressed and sad and having issues to like floating. There's a little middle ground where it's kind of like you're doing these little steps. If you notice, let's kind of do some steps forward, some steps backwards. It's because it's a journey. You're gonna have some days where you process. You're gonna have some days where entities might show up. You might have it's the healing. My Zoom page used to be called. Where I used to meet with people on video, was called My Emotion Code Journey, not My Emotion Code Vacation or My Emotion Code. It's really a journey, which a journey has ups and downs. And so as you keep working on yourself, you will have some ups and downs, but you have to picture yourself that you're moving up, you're going upwards. Okay. Anyway, by releasing your trapped emotions, you'll be removing the unwanted negative energies that are hampering the normal function of your tissues, and you'll be helping to reestablish the free flow of energy, thus helping your body to heal itself. Your mind will return to a more natural state as well, without the drama, pain, and weight of your emotions blocking you from progressing in your life. Next, I will share some amazing secrets that ancient physicians knew about the human energy field that have been recently rediscovered. And we will start on 71. So with that, feel free to comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on these different PTSD stories, which were pretty amazing. And I definitely, if you are meeting with a body code practitioner, way to go. Keep going, keep healing yourself. This is a journey. I honor you and your growth, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below, or you can email me at compasshealing2019 at gmail.com, or if you want to set up a session, if you can, follow me on Instagram. It's emmanuel.zavios, and I'll be doing live, I'm about to launch this huge thing where I'm going to be doing live sessions there and doing a lot of healing over there. And I'm going to be one of the most, my goal is to be one of the most popular body code practitioners on Instagram. So with that, go jump on Instagram right now, add me, emmanuel.zavios, and I'll be doing live sessions. And so if for some reason I'm booked 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, I'll be doing some live sessions randomly, and maybe you might get healed or your friends. So that's why it's good to tell your friend about it. So with that, love you guys. Take care. Bye.